'cause she knows it's demanding to beat those evil machines. Oh, you seen that? They don't believe me. Oh, you seen that?
What is up, guys, and welcome back to YouTube Burlick for a ranking of one of my top favorite bands of all time. I went to their concert, like 2 weeks ago now? I made the video about it last week. It is, of course, the Human League, one of, if not the original 80s synth pop band. I mean, they're incredible. They have one of the greatest albums of all time here in Dare, which is just kind of like they're one of the pioneers of synth pop, but they also have some crazy experimental years that inspired bands like the 9 Inch Nails. It's kind of crazy, but yeah. The Human League, of course, fronted by Powerhouse, not original member, but Powerhouse vocalist Philip Oakey. He's one of my goats. He also does synthesizers and is just an incredible showman and great guy. I love the Human League. Yeah, we were doing 9 albums. There's today. There are 9 studio albums spanning from the 70s to 2011. That's the most recent. So yeah, the Human League. Great band, one of my favorite bands. Went to the concert. Consider watching that video if you haven't. But yeah, let's get into this video. Please consider checking out my band Bull's Cream of Wheat. That is our album Bull's Walker Project right there. I always link our Spotify in the description, but also we have a YouTube channel, we have a Bandcamp. Yeah, let's get into this video after the intro.
Here you go.
Alright guys, so that was the intro, and now let's get into this ranking. Please consider subscribing to the channel. And yeah, so the Human League, they have 3 current members. It's of course Phil Oakey, as I said, their main guy, but it's also Susan Soley and Joanne Catherell. I believe it's Susan and Soley now, but those are the members of the Human League. So let's get into the ranking, shall we? I think they have like 3 incredible albums, but we have to begin at the bottom. So I'm sorry, but coming in last is a really, really bad album. And that is going to be 1990s Romantic. Or actually, well, it's spelled like romantic, because there's a question mark. So the band is like gone at this point, okay? 80s synth pop is way out of here, except for Depeche Mode, because they carried into the 90s for some reason. I don't know how they did it, but they did. All the other 80s synth pop bands had either changed. Duran Duran went to more rock. Tears for Fears went into like progressive stuff, and then into like post-grunge almost. But like, Human League stayed synth pop, because they were like the synth pop band, in my opinion. But this album, it just didn't work. Like, it was, of course, Phil Oakey, the 2 girls, and I believe 2 other members, maybe 3, I don't remember. And this album had one decently big single, and Heart Like a Wheel. And in my opinion, that's the only good song in the album. But it's not great either. All the other albums on this list have at least one amazing song, even if they're not good albums. But Romantic has no amazing songs, just one good song, Heart Like a Wheel. It's just a good song. It's like an 8 out of 10. Or 7 out of 10, sorry. It's 7 out of 10. It's not that good. It's good, but it's not that good, And there's some really bad songs on here, but some really cringy lyrics. Soundtrack to Generation, Rebound, horrible song. Really cringy. Weak vocals from the girls. And honestly, like, even the other tracks on here, like The Closer, Get It Right This Time, or Stars Are Going Out, not very good. This album, aside from Heart Like a Wheel, absolutely nothing. And again, Heart Like a Wheel's not even that good. Sorry that I'm hating on you, Phil. You're my goat, but Romantic is not good. And as you'll be able to tell here, they actually did have a dark era, which actually was kind of in the 80s as well for about the latter half of the decade, because coming into second to last is 1986's Crash, the Train record, as I've seen, because it was in some sort of list from somebody, Train Records. But Romantic was an awful album. And this album, aside from 1 or 2 songs, is also awful. I'd argue actually worse than Romantic, possibly. Because, okay, let's get out of the way, okay? The album cover is horrible. Apparently they had like a really rough time shooting it. And it's blurry, like literally on purpose. This album, it has some of the worst songs, not the Human League ever done, but some of the worst songs of all time. Like the gay party anthem and Swang.
Swang, 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 do it.
It's so bad. Like, it's actually crazy how bad Swang is, but it's really, really bad. I Need Your Loving, Party, also some really bad songs. But you're going to be thinking, okay, then why is this ahead of Romantic? It's because of their second #1 hit in the US, Human. Okay, like, they worked with guys like Harry Jam and Jam Lewis. I don't even know what their names are, but, big names, like the R&B sort of background, and did a lot of the songwriting, a lot of the music on here. Human is almost an R&B track. Actually, it kind of is almost. It's still synth pop, of course, because it's the Human League. Human is one of the band's biggest songs, and I absolutely love it. Phil's vocals are incredible. The song's lyrics are perfect about like cheating, you know, while we were apart, I was human too. And just a beautiful melody. You know, it's iconic.
I'm only human, of flesh and blood, I'm made.
It's beautiful, and it's one of my favorite Human League songs for sure. I guess the closer, Love Is All That Matters, is decent, but it goes on for way too long. The album is like, the lyrics are cringe except for Human. Everything is cringe. And like, people are like, oh, the Human League are synth pop, right? So that means their golden era should be the 80s. Early 80s, yeah. But after like 1984, man, they went to crap here. Like, honestly, really bad. Crash is arguably a worse album than Romantic, but just because it is Human on it, one of my favorite songs of all time. It's absolutely beautiful. Just because of that song, it does slide into the second to last spot. Next up, now, this is out of the dark era, but it's an album that kind of disappointed me, actually, and that is going to be their most recent album, and probably last, my guess would be, they're still touring, of course, as I went to the concert. It's 2011's Credo. That's how you say it. So this album is like unavailable everywhere. It's not on Spotify. They had some licensing issues with their label at the time, I believe. So they just literally could not get it. But you know, the album kind of disappointed me because, spoiler right here, you know, they had their dark era in like the late 80s and the 90s. But like their latest two albums, it kind of started to come back, and the production was phenomenal. They're kind of really getting into like some grooves. No, this album definitely was a step down. But still, the tracks Night People and Sky, and even the opener Never Let Me Go, the first three songs were all pretty darn good. I actually love Night People. It's a pretty good banger. And Sky has some really good parts as well. But, this album, due to licensing issues, I had to look up on YouTube. And the sixth song, Single Minded, I'm looking at my note here, literally could not find. I looked at it everywhere, could not find that song, so that is the Human League song that I've never heard. I literally could not find it. And I don't want to buy this album on CD, so I literally could not find it. Sorry, I almost burped there. But Privilege, When the Stars Start to Shine, not very good either. The entire album itself is pretty mid. It's not produced as good as their old stuff, but it has Night People in the Sky, so some pretty darn good songs there. Definitely as an entire album in terms of the lowlights, definitely way better than Romantic and Crash, which both had some all-time bad songs. I'm looking at you, Swang. Looking at you, Rebound. Yeah, that's about it for Credo. Sorry that I'm talking so fast here, but I just kind of want to get through these bottom ones. But coming out next, I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but this one is kind of an album that would seem very disappointing. And that is going to be 1984's Hysteria. That is right. They're coming off the Dare era. They're one of the biggest bands in the world. They released, what is it, like Love and Dancing or something, and a bunch of great singles. By the way, you know, Human League, I'm going to get this out of the way right now. They have some absolutely big hits, as I'll, you know, kind of spoil it. You know, Don't You Want Me's massive. Human, as we talked about. But, like, their other biggest hits aren't even on these albums that we're talking about. Keep Feeling Fascination's huge. That song is great. That's not on an album. That's on Love and Dancing. Mirror Man, that's on, you know, that thing as well, that single thing. And also,
we'll always be together, however far it seems.
Together in Electric Dreams. That's a Phil Oakey's like a solo track with like that other guy for the movie. So that's not being included either. So out of their top 5 biggest hits, only really 2 are actually on like these albums that we're talking about. Sorry that I keep singing, but man, they have some really catchy stuff. So that's our little detour to talk about the songs that we will not be including due to the fact that they're not on studio albums. But for Hysteria itself, it's called Hysteria because, whoa, it was hysteria to make. I don't know why, though, because considering all the crap they went through recording this album, the album itself came out really mid and really simplistic, which I don't mind the simplicity, but like with songs like the cover of Rock Me Again 6 Times and Betrayed and So Hurt, those songs are not good at all. And I think the simplistic production sometimes really works and sometimes falls really, really flat. And I think overall, all the crap they went through to make this album is like, why? But, okay. It has an all-time track, that being The Lebanon. Actually, another good song in Luis was supposed to be the big single, like Don't You Want Me Part 2. No, that song did not do anything. They actually had The Lebanon released as the lead single. And the Lebanon's album's incredible. Everything about it. They actually use the guitar, you know, really great guitar. Bang, bang, now. And then, you know, all three of them singing together. You know, Phil opens up. She
dreams of 1969.
And the girls coming before the soldiers came.
I mean, it's great. The verses are great, and the chorus is incredible. You know, the Lebanon. But then the bridge, like the guitar, you know, starts going up a little bit more. And they're just like, Phil's like belting here. It's beautiful. It's dreamy. I must be dreaming. Beautiful bridge. Back into the chorus. And then there's like a 2-minute extended fade out that is literally just like the bridge, but instrumental. It's incredible. Don't You Know I Want You, the closer, I think is pretty good, underrated song as well. But yeah, this album, I don't get the hysteria that they went through to make it, considering what it actually turned out to be. But, yeah, it has the Lebanon. So, you know, that's a pretty good thing. But yeah, actually, like, after, you know, Dare and the great singles like Mirror Man, Keep Feeling Fascination, and Together Electric Dreams, the band already was kind of falling off at that point. But good thing they returned, because up next here, pretty similar to it, we entered the top 5. And number 5, now we're getting into good albums here. Not just albums that are mid or bad, but 1 or 2 absolutely incredible songs, actually good albums. And that is going to be Secrets from 2001. An album you wouldn't really expect to be that good, but this album is great. Yeah, it opens up with one of my favorite Human League songs, All I Ever Wanted. The bass on this album sounds incredible. It really, really does. Love Me Madly, Shameless, and the instrumentals. Human League instrumentals, hands down, are like their best songs. Like, consistently their best songs. Ringing Low, I believe, is the instrumental, and it is great. It's more aggressive. It punches really hard. It packs a punch, you know? It's a great track. Some of the songs on here, like The Snake and Never Give You a Heart, I really don't like that much, but everything else is good. Human League, pretty much all the other track lists here are like 11 or less songs, very compact. This one's 16 tracks. There's a lot of, you know, interlude instrumentals to lead songs in from one another. But this album itself, I just absolutely love All I Ever Wanted. And I think overall, the lows aren't as low and the production's elite. So definitely a good comeback. But before this great album, there was the other comeback album, which I think is slightly better. And that is going to be 1995's Octopus, which is weird because it's their 7th album, but I guess we're including Love and Dancing, it's their 8th, but we're not including that. So, Octopus, I believe this is the album, yes, that Ian Stanley from Tears for Fears, my goats. Ian Stanley was like the main producer here, so it sounds great, as you would expect it to be. Only 9 tracks, none of the interludes that they did like on Secrets. And, you know, people are thinking, oh, it's the 90s. Human League's got to be dead, right? I mean, they made Crash, which was a bad album with 1 great single. And then they made, you know, Romantic, which is garbage pretty much, with 1 decent single. Octopus, Tell Me When, the opener's phenomenal. I love that song. It's catchy.
Tell me when will I see you again?
And it's like, you know, it's really catchy, and it actually charted as well. Pretty darn good in the UK. Other great songs, One Man in My Heart's great. I like the closer, Cruel Young Lover. Actually, as you notice with Human League, their closers are oftentimes the more aggressive songs. The more fast-paced, maybe more emotionally, like, dense. Yeah. There are still some pretty mid songs, though, like House Full of Nothing and Words. Did not like those. But overall, Ian Stanley being on the production here, Tell Me When being a great, surprising hit as well. It's a great song as well. And of course, you gotta have the instrumentals. John Cleese, Is He Funny? That's what the song's called. It goes hard. It's catchy. It's my favorite song on the album. Again, all the Human League instrumentals always seem to be hitting there just because they're knack for great melodies on the keyboards, great melodies with the great bass, and always hit hard production. It's great. We never have known if John Cleese is funny, though. But yeah, Octopus is great. Like, honestly, the bottom 4 albums were really not that good at all. So, most of them were carried by 1 or 2 elite songs. But these last 2 albums have been very good. But now we get to the top 3. And here's where we really get going. They're all the first 3 Human League albums. And now, you know, we have the era with Phil Oakey and the 2 girls, you know, Joanne and Susan. But the original lineup, wow, it's insane. And it might have to yap about their story for a little bit. I guess we'll see. Coming in here, in the top 3, a really big step up. I have Reproduction from 1975, the band's debut album. Yeah, no girls. It's Phil Oakey just singing, and a lot of the other guys on the keyboards who are also goated. And then I believe went on to form Heaven 17 or whatever it's called. The album's abrasive. It's experimental. It goes hard. It has some crazy songs. Like the 9-minute You've Lost That Love and Feeling cover, which is a great song. Or Circus of Death, which is super experimental. Or Almost Medieval, another great song. Or the absolute banger, I just spit, absolute banger, Empire State Human. That song is a 10 out of 10. Like, an absolute 10 out of 10. Empire State Human, absolutely love it. But overall, the band, I believe from Sheffield, just kind of had some experimental roots, and this album really shows that. Yes, Blind Youth and Austerity Girl 1 aren't my favorites, but they're not bad songs, definitely not. They're just kind of mediocre. The album sounds great. It is like super pioneering of the synth pop days, even though this isn't synth pop. This is like experimental stuff. But yeah, it's a great debut album. It really is. Empire State Human is one of the best songs ever made. Yeah, Reproduction is really cool with the really inappropriate cover as well. But now we enter the top two, the band's second and third albums, and the two that I own. Sorry, I keep almost throwing up. Maybe it's because these top two albums are so darn good. At number 2, I'm sorry, maybe I'm a casual, but it's Travelogue. Oh yeah, here's the CD. Got it recently. It's used because you cannot find anything. You can't find this, like, new. This and the debut Reproduction. Reproduction's $2,000 to buy new on Amazon, by the way. So I obviously didn't get this from Amazon. It was sold out. So yeah, Travelogue, the track list is The Black Hit of Space, Only After Dark, Life Kills, Dreams of Leaving, Toyota City, Corona Baby, Had an Affair. The result was a landslide. The Touchables, Gordon's Gin, of course, Being Boiled, and WX Jail Tonight. And then this also has quite a few bonus tracks as well. A couple of them are pretty cool. I actually really like I Don't Depend on You, which was a single that they released under like the name like The Men, I believe. But yeah, so this album, Reproduction, is a really experimental synth pop debut. But this is like full on 9 Inch Nails without the guitars. It's like, it's so abrasive. Like, actually, this album cover is sick too. It's so abrasive. There's Phil Oakey, the little goat, and the other 3 great members as well. But like, it's really abrasive. And the best songs in here, like The Black Hit of Space, really cool opener. And then, of course, like Dreams of Leaving. My gosh, almost 6 minutes. One of the band's longest songs. Dreams of Leaving is a 10 out of 10. All the synth work. I Could Be Someone's Neighbor. It's just so good. Some parts when it gets really, really heavy and loud. Toyota City, beautiful instrumental. Corona Baby, Had an Affair, really catchy, good song. Gordon's Gin, another instrumental. And then, of course, Being Boiled, which is like one of the band's original singles. I believe maybe their first ever single, like a different version of it. Listen to the voice of Buddha. The lyrics on this album are so crazy experimental. Like, here's the booklet here. Just listen to some of the lyrics of Being Boiled. It's insane. Like, saying stop your sericulture. Little people like your children, boiled alive for some god's stocking. It's insane what they wrote here, what Phil and the gang were writing. But the closer, too, of the actual album, WX Jail Tonight, I thought had really great songwriting, really interesting topic, subject. This entire album is just super experimental and abrasive. I'm very happy and grateful to own this used thing, but because it's very hard to find. But the album itself is like an 8 out of 10. It is really, really good. All right, sorry guys for the cut there. My phone had an issue. But yeah, I'm sorry that I'm yapping so much today, but I just love the Human League so much. End of the day though, thoughts on Travelogue, their second best album. It's so underrated. Despite how crazy and cool their origins are with those first 2 albums, the number 1 just has to be it. I said it in the intro. It's one of the greatest albums of all time. It's Dare. It's gotta be Dare. One of my favorite albums of all time, and it's definitely like a top 100 album ever. It's like the synth pop album. Synth pop album. There's the CD. So Dare. The track list is Things That Dreams Are Made Of, Open Your Heart, Sound of the Crowd, Darkness, Do or Die, Get Carter, I'm the Lost Seconds, and of course the two closers, Love Action and Don't You Want Me. The big one, the really big one. So this album is just one of the best produced albums of all time. It's when the two girls joined the band, like on their first album. Phil Oakey is just a machine vocally here. And the album's so great. Of course, the other guys on the album as well. But then the last three songs, the last three songs. This album is already one of the best produced albums ever. Already has quite a few 10 out of 10s. But the last three songs of Seconds, Love Action, and the big single Don't You Want Me. One of the top 3-track runs of all time, in my opinion, on an album. Seconds, written about the JFK assassination. Every single melody, every single lyric in that song is pure perfection. Like, every single thing made on that song is God tier. Really is. It's probably a top 5 synth pop song ever made. And Seconds or Love Action is my favorite Human League song. The best Human League song is Seconds or Love Action, or they're tied. Because then there's Love Action, one of the original songs that I knew when I was like 5, along with Don't You Want Me. 2 very nostalgic songs for me already. Just, Love Action is just a perfect song. You know, the synth, for our PP League, we use that song. I listened to it the entire soccer season last year. It goes hard. It's so great. I love your Love Action. Thus, it's just a distraction. And then there's Don't You Want Me, one of the best love songs ever written. The second ever song to air on MTV, #1 in the US and the UK. It's Don't You Want Me. Just overall, like, my final thoughts on Dare is that there's not a single bad song. Every song is actually great to all time. Incredible, like the last 3 songs and Sound of the Crowd. And it's just so perfect for me. It's like a 9.5 out of 10, if not higher. It still keeps growing on me still. That's the ranking, guys.
Thanks for watching this video. Now look at this person. And again, thank you for watching today's video. Please like and subscribe, even though Burlick is bad. Anyways, bye.